Hey everybody, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and this is going to be my detailed review and install of the Rough Country Hidden Winch Mounting Plate available for your 2009 to 2014 F-150, excluding all 3.5 EcoBoost trucks and all Raptors. Now in this detailed breakdown, I plan on talking about some of the benefits of running a hidden winch mount like this option here from Rough Country. We'll break down some of the specs and materials, and then finally we'll cover some of the juicier bits of the installation. We're not running down a step-by-step, but what I can tell you is expect a moderate amount of work here with this winch plate. There is some work in some tight areas, in addition to some light trimming of the plastic surrounding where this guy would actually live. And if you are going to be installing a winch at the same time here as the plate, then factor in some light wiring as well. Either way, I'm going 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and we will have some more detail on that later on. In my opinion, the Rough Country winch plate here will be for the naturally aspirated V6 and 5-liter truck owners out there looking to get a winch onto their rig, but would prefer to do so in a stealthy way, as this plate will hide that winch behind the front bumper. Secondly here, this is going to be your most affordable way to get a winch onto your rig, as those other options include the aftermarket steel bumpers, which typically run upwards of $1,000 to $2,000. Last but not least, Rough Country claims that their winch plate will support most aftermarket winches up to 12,000 pounds, and this does include those 9,500 pounders as well. So if you're the type of truck owner who spends a lot of time off-road, on the trails, in the mud, on the beach, whatever, you've probably determined it's time to add a winch. Listen man, these things are lifesavers and can inevitably help you or a buddy out when you do get jammed up in a tight spot or stuck off-road. So when it comes time to physically get that winch onto your rig, again, you're gonna have a couple of options here. Go with the Rough Country style mount. Again, it's gonna hide that winch behind the front bumper, and it will no doubt be the most affordable way to do so. Your other option, we already talked about it, right? You're gonna add one of those steel aftermarket bumpers. It's gonna give you the winch capabilities. It's also gonna help you with a little bit more protection off-road. So it just really boils down to what you're looking for and how much you wanna spend. Speaking of dough, this thing's very affordable. Again, only $200 is what you're looking at here. Obviously, you have to factor in the aftermarket winch as well. Those steel bumpers, again, we talked about them, right? $1,000 to $2,000 easily, and that's not even including the winch. So if you're looking to keep things relatively budget friendly, this is obviously the way to go. And on top of saving money, some owners might just prefer the look of the factory bumper with the fair lead sticking out, the tow rope, all that cool stuff, as opposed to or over those aftermarket bumpers, which definitely give the truck a more modified look, kind of that Baja look, which isn't a bad thing per se, but it just might not be for everyone. But let's break down the construction a little bit more, and as you can see, things are pretty simple with the Rough Country option. You're looking at 1/4-inch steel plating throughout. This thing is burly, it's solid, it's heavy. You know it's made to take some abuse. It's actually gonna mount to the frame horns here on the front of your truck, which is nice because you don't have to drill into the frame or do anything crazy like that, but you still maintain the use of those factory front tow hooks, which is something that I really enjoy. Now, once installed, the winch plate here, along with the winch, which obviously isn't included with this kit, will be living between that front bumper and the radiator area in your F-150. And it becomes clear pretty quick why you can't use this on an EcoBoost powered truck, right? Because with the winch on top of the plate, you're running into some clearance issues with that front mount intercooler. So EcoBoost owners will have to look in a different direction. Now, once everything is fully installed, really all you're gonna be able to see from the front end of the truck is the fair lead that is included with the winch, of course, in addition to the actual tow rope itself, making for a really tough look in my opinion. Now, one thing to consider here using something like this is that, yes, it will make cleaning the winch a little bit more difficult, but come on guys, let's be honest. All you really have to do at this point, simply pop the hood, hose off the winch after you've done some wheeling in some mud or something like that. This really shouldn't be a deal breaker for anybody watching. Another cool thing Rough Country is quick to point out is that you don't have to install the plate and the winch together at the same time, like some other options available in the aftermarket. This means for you guys watching at home, you can install the plate, add the winch later on down the road, or if you want, you can upgrade the winch later on down the road to something maybe a little burlier, and you don't have to rip everything out to do so. So something else worth pointing out here with this particular option. Finally guys, Rough Country winch plate is backed by their limited lifetime warranty, although I really doubt you'll ever need it because this thing is built like a tank. But let's switch gears and talk about the installation here a little bit more with the Rough Country winch plate. And no, this isn't gonna be a step-by-step breakdown because Rough Country gives you some very detailed instructions here with their kit, but instead, I just wanna give you a better idea of what to expect when it does come time to start wrenching. And overall, you're really not looking at anything too crazy here, guys. 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe an hour or 2 from start to finish. If you're going to be installing a winch at the same time, then obviously you will be doing some light wiring, and that install time might extend slightly. As far as your tool list for this install, well, basic socket set, a few wrenches is really all you're looking at, in addition to a Dremel or air saw to do some very, very light trimming of some plastic around the winch area. Nothing that is going to be visible from the outside of your truck, so don't let that scare you away from this install. Now, the plate itself is actually going to live between those tow hooks up front and the frame itself, so you will need to drop those factory tow hooks first using a 15mm socket and wrench. Once those tow hooks are out of the way, you can get to work installing the Rough Country plate here. This is where some of that light trimming might come into play, so just take your time on that. With everything wrapped up in the trimming department, install the plate and secure it using the hardware you removed with that 15mm socket. Now, if you were to install a winch, this would be the time to do so. Obviously, there's some wiring involved here, so just follow the directions there. And then your final step would be to install that fair lead and the cover bracket, and that should pretty much wrap things up. I really enjoy the Rough Country winch mounting plate for 2 big reasons. First and foremost, it will be the most affordable way to get a winch onto your F-150 without the need for any drilling. Secondly, there's just something about the look of that factory front bumper with the fair lead sticking out in the tow rope that I just think looks so damn cool. So guys, that's gonna do it. Thanks for watching. And if you want more info on the Rough Country hidden winch mounting plate, you can do so right here at AmericanMuscle.com.